Hello, back at it with another video. It's Will, happy to be here, happy to see you. So today, I wanted to talk about how do I generate ideas. So if you've been looking at my YouTube shorts recently, your boy's been cranking out music ideas every day, thoughts, ideas, making. I wanted to talk about like how I do that for anyone who's like interested to like understand my creative process a bit more. So how do I generate ideas? This is a really good question, I think, and I'm going to start here today with thinking about some of the mindset approaches and then some of the practical. So I'm going to show this on guitar, but I'll go and get that in a bit. So something I think is really pivotal to generating ideas is showing up. So I have this room constructed in a very specific way. Okay, you can't see the whole room. I'll put a picture of it around here somewhere. It'll look chaotic. It'll look messy. I'll own that. This is a messy room, but it's constructed actually in a very intentional way. So if you like look around the room, you'll kind of notice that there are instruments literally all around me. They're all close to me. I can see them. I have built this environment in a very specific way that has, you can even see around here. Just off screen there's a poster. I have posters up for a very specific reason because they help me, and they're all different genres of music on the wall, by the way. Jazz funk, jazz emu, King Gizzard's right there, Bullet for My Valentine is there, Queens of the Stone Age is on the other wall. All of this is placed very intentionally, and I want to explain why. So my environment, I think, is super key to framing like how I make creative ideas. And having different instruments around me all the time, very accessible, very easy to boot up and use. So the bane of creativity, and I'm going to push back against all the gearheads here, in whatever your creative process is more options is not better. Playing with fewer options increases creativity. So actually a certain amount of restriction improves creativity. It's one of the reasons I like the daily uploads with the shorts, because I don't have a lot of time to really sit and ponder and go, is this a good idea? Is that a good idea? No, you just have to do. And a lot of creating ideas is being present in the process and doing. Okay, so you have to play, right? So the idea here is you gather up enough tools to do something. It doesn't have to be great. It doesn't have to be good. It's not about being good. It's about exploring what's possible with the avenues you have in front of you. And I'm going to go and get a guitar. Hold on. So here's my acoustic guitar. So how do I generate ideas with this thing? As I bonk the mic. How do I generate ideas with this thing? So you might not be a musician. That's fine. But this should translate to most creative avenues. So when you pick up your instrument of choice, or you're painting, or you're drawing, or you're crocheting, or whatever, first you want to understand the tools you have with you. Understand your thing, okay? So you got to pick up your instrument and know some stuff about it. So that's like the first part. You're not going to know everything, but you need enough to play. And what by that I mean, you need enough to be able to like pick it up and do something comfortable and enjoyable with it. So for me, you know, I've been playing guitar for a while, so I know a lot of chords. Chords are cool, and that's a place I kind of start. And I think, what are the fundamental blocks of like this thing I'm playing with here? So how I think about music on a guitar anyway is I think about the root notes a lot. So I think about the root notes. This is G, and that's an F. No, it's not an F. That's a C. G, C, G, C. Okay? So I think about those root notes when I'm playing the instrument. So I think about the shapes as well. So if you don't even want to think about the letters and stuff, or the numbers, or whatever the heck you're doing, that's fine. Just think of shapes. I think of shapes, okay? This may or may not translate for you, but I think about this on piano too, but on guitar, this is a G chord, and then I move that, so I'm moving the root here, so I'm going G, C, and then, so I've got 2 little points here. So that's like something I can play with, right? So already there's a bit of an idea forming here, you might notice, because I'm like, I've just picked a point on the guitar and I'm like, picked a chord I know. I could play a different chord here. I could play this. 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 I could play a lot of different things. So I could just do this. I could play octaves. I could play power chords. There's lots of things you could do there. So think more about the shapes. Don't worry about all the things I'm holding down, and just think about the shapes. You could literally just do it with one note. You could be like, so I'm thinking almost in like this, like kind of like an L shape in a way, right? So there's kind of just an L in my head, right? So that's the kick of the L. That's the base of the L. That's the high bit of the L. And you go back. And then just play in that shape. Do different stuff in this shape. This is your box. This is your parameters, okay? You don't need to like make it any more complicated than that. Like, create a little box for you to play in and then play around in the box. This is true for drawing. This is true for, say you're going to draw an ant. Draw an ant. Try and draw ants in different ways, okay? And this is true certainly with guitar, I find, where you can kind of go... And like, you can play power chords in that shape, or you can do this. Or you could go... See, I changed the chord shape. And the rhythm. And you just work in the shape. And I got a rhythm here now. So how am I feeling when I hear this rhythm? Mistakes will happen, that's okay. So I'm feeling a bit bright. I'm feeling a little bright. I don't know if it's wrong or right. It's not always going to be great. Alright? So yeah, a little flat at the end there. That's all part of the experimenting. So, huge part of experimenting the process is understanding mistakes are going to happen and accepting those mistakes. So, I know I don't go. And you just have to keep fucking up, right? So, generating ideas is about fucking up. More than anything, it's about fucking up. You gotta be okay with fucking up. So I fucked up then, and I'm not gonna edit that out because I think fucking up is important. And that, in my opinion, is like really how I approach creativity in general. Like, it's about feeling what you're feeling. So that didn't sound right. I don't like that. I'm gonna change it up. G, C major, D minor, C major, G. I kind of like that. Let's do more of that. Sound a little off, sound a little cool. I'm having fun with it being different. So you also want to try and find something different in the box you're working in, okay? So, you know, you can do all kinds of different things. If you don't have this many tools right now on the instrument, that's like okay. If you don't have this many ways of drawing an ant or whatever, that's okay. Just play with what you got. Okay, and then if you want more after you have the comfortable zone, you want to try and stretch outside of that a little bit. So you want to like try and take a bit of information in, but be careful with techniques you learn, looking at other artists, because if you're a very self-critical creative, which most are in my experience, you need to be careful with the amount of art you take in. So if you see loads of different art or lots of different music, you can judge yourself a lot. Okay, you can be like, I'm not good enough for this, I'm not good enough for that. But you need to take in a bit and be curious about that process and play with it. So it's And it all comes down to you and how you're feeling. This comes down to me. When I was trying to make music, originally, I found it really hard because I would judge myself a lot. I'm like, people are going to see me, this guy here. And I don't like that. You know? I don't. And that's gonna... I think that's the hardest part of the creative process, being willing to go, hey, this is what I'm about, this is who I am, here I am. And I generate ideas by essentially being aware of how my inner critic is like batting certain stuff away. And sometimes ideas need working on, and sometimes they don't. And the only way you're going to learn that is by playing. And you're going to fail a lot. And that's going to suck, and that's why you need to process your emotions and improve your self-regulation. In my opinion, a lot of the creative process is emotional self-regulation and managing the judgment you feel towards yourself when you're playing with your ideas. That's like the foundation of it, right? So I hope that was useful. I'm going to leave it there. You've been wonderful. I've been Will. Love you to bits. Take a good piss. Will Thunder Talks forever. Bye.